Ndidi's feet scraped across the village path as she followed the priestess deeper into the sacred forest. Her heart pounded with a mixture of terror and hope. Behind her, the trees rustled, not with wind, but with eyes unseen. The air grew heavier with every step. "Don't look back," the priestess warned, her voice as sharp as the bird bones hanging from her staff. Ndidi's skin prickled. Something followed her, something ancient. She could feel it breathing just above her shoulder. It was him. The husband from the other side. The trees in the sacred forest were not like ordinary trees. Each trunk twisted with carvings, names of women who had vanished from the village in ages past. The priestess stopped before a tree weeping sap like blood. "This is where the wives of the night are claimed," she said. "The spirits marry them in dreams, then drag their souls into this forest." Ndidi felt the mark on her back burn. Her own name would be added if she failed tonight. The priestess lit a torch of herbs and ash. The smoke spiraled, and the forest whispered her name. The priestess cut her palm and smeared blood across Ndidi's forehead. "You must die before you live again," she chanted. Ndidi was stripped and bathed in bitter waters. She screamed as tiny thorns pierced her skin, drawing blood to cleanse the unseen union. The pain was unbearable, but she did not run. "You are not just breaking a bond. You are declaring war," the priestess warned. The wind stopped. The forest dimmed. Then came the sound of footsteps, slow, heavy, ancient. From between the trees, the spiritual husband emerged. Tall, horned, dressed in a robe of bones and shadow. His face shifted, sometimes her late father, sometimes her mother's lover, sometimes a stranger with her features. "You are mine," he said. His voice echoed in her womb. He raised a blackened hand toward her. The mark on her back flared in response. But the priestess stepped between them, her voice like thunder. "Not tonight, demon." The forest erupted into chaos. Fire and mist swirled. Ndidi was flung backward. The spiritual husband opened his arms and thousands of shadow wives appeared, silent women, empty-eyed, drawn into him over the centuries. "Join them," he beckoned. But Ndidi screamed, "I am not yours." She slashed her own palm with the ritual dagger and pressed her blood onto the forest floor. Her scream echoed across realms. Suddenly, the trees began to burn not with flames, but with light. The spirits wailed. The priestess chanted in an ancient tongue. The spiritual husband roared and began to dissolve into mist. Ndidi collapsed in exhaustion. But the priestess was not done. "Now go," she whispered. "Tell your mother the truth must be buried no longer." When Ndidi returned to the village, she found her mother lying unconscious, foaming at the mouth. "She is battling the same demon in her mind," the priestess said. "You broke your chains, but hers remain." Ndidi took her hand and whispered, "Mama, tell the truth. Let it out." It took 3 days. But eventually, her mother awoke, sobbing uncontrollably. Before the village elders and priestess, she confessed everything. "I was once promised to a spirit husband by my own father, so our farm wouldn't fail. But I broke that vow by marrying a man of flesh. The spirit came for me, and when I gave birth to Ndidi, he claimed her as the debt I refused to pay." Gasps echoed through the gathering. The elders turned pale. "You passed a curse to your child." The priestess nodded gravely. "The spirits don't forget." The elders ruled that Ndidi's mother must leave the village for 3 seasons, wandering barefoot as repentance. Ndidi begged them to spare her, but tradition was unyielding. "Mama must pay her own price," the priestess said. Ndidi, though broken-hearted, accepted it. As her mother walked away into the forest alone, she turned once and whispered, "Break the cycle, my daughter. Be free." In the following moons, Ndidi began to dream again, but this time, the dreams were not of weddings and chains. They were peaceful. Birds. Waterfalls. Children laughing. She no longer woke in pain. Her womb was quiet. Her thoughts were her own. She began to help the priestess heal other young women who spoke of night visits and phantom touches. She recognized their fear. She became their voice. On the day the village held its festival of light, Ndidi was crowned daughter of liberation. But she did not smile for herself. She lit candles for all the forgotten wives carved into the trees. And when the last name faded from bark into light, she whispered, "You are seen. You are free." And for the first time in generations, the night was still. No footsteps. No whispers. Just peace. Years passed. Ndidi grew into a woman of wisdom and strength. She never married, not because of fear, but because she had already fought a husband no man could rival. When girls in the village whispered about shadows, she listened. And when a mother came crying with a baby screaming at night, Ndidi would draw a mark in the sand, hold her hand, and say, "Let me tell you a story."